My twins. We are back. We are back with a different video, funnel video. I've been doing a whole lot of just yapping and talking about regular life and stuff like that. And I forgot. I forgot about that though. I forgot what all of this is for ultimately. It's to showcase, a wide range of what all goes on in my life. And one of the things that goes on in my life is sales, right? Sales specifically in the online space realm when it comes to education, things like that, online education, investing products, things of that nature. I've sold a wide range of things at this point. Um, and at this point, I've been responsible in some way or another for shit. I mean, as a direct contributor, like 2, 3 million in cash collected over the last 2 years, a little bit less than 2 years. And in terms of revenue that people would like say that I'm responsible for through people I've trained, through teams I've managed, that number is sitting around like 8 or 9 million. So I'm decent, right? I'm okay at some of this stuff, and I wanted to make another video to talk through my theory, my thought process when it comes to how to actually rig a funnel, right? Now, the ideology behind this comes from a dinner that I was at the other night with some of my good friends out here in Austin, Texas, and we were talking about different ways to capture traffic and convert it. Because that's like the normal thing to talk about when you go out to dinner. And the people that I was with, they are two different guys. One of them runs like almost a sales management agency, but they do some media buying as well, if I'm not mistaken. And then one of them runs an offer, and he's getting into like running a physical business as well now. So both two dudes that are, objectively ahead of me in this stuff. And they both like different kinds of funnels, right? The one who runs an offer and he's getting into his own like physical business, he is a call book funnel guy. He likes call book funnels and he likes LinkedIn because of the ICP that he's targeting. And then the other guy, he's more of a likes webinars. He likes challenge funnels. He likes very interactive things where you can convert somebody quickly through like a very selective indoctrination process, as I would like to call it. And me personally, I like both of them, right? I like a blend of all of those things. But what I've come to realize over my time in the space is the best way to build your business is through a frictionless funnel, right? Now, a lot of people, they don't agree with that. A lot of people like for folks to be filtered out early and as quickly as they can because we just don't want to talk to them and they're never going to be buyers. We hate them, right? But ultimately, what you're doing in those situations is you're sacrificing a lot of leads. No matter what acquisition channel you use per se, you're sacrificing a lot of leads because somebody may come to you that isn't your original ICP, but if you push them out of your funnel too quickly, your funnel is too rigid, it's too tight, then you're never going to have a buyer in that person when realistically they may not be your ICP at that moment, but they may be saving up money to become your ICP, right? And I see a lot of times in business, people will almost like hamstring themselves by focusing on the most acquirable TAM all at once, right? So you're trying to get all of your buyers and you only want to speak to your buyers, right? Now, fundamentally, makes sense, right? You only want to talk to the people that are going to buy in that moment. Whenever you're maybe setting things up or something like that, you're trying to, get things rolling. But I actually built an offer around this with a buddy of mine a while ago. And it was completely built around testimonials and brand trust because I've seen a drastic increase in actual closing rate and just sales ability not being needed as much whenever there's more trust involved, right? Meaning that your setters and your closers don't really need to do as much work as long as your funnel is frictionless and is welcoming and is wide enough to accept the people that may not buy in that moment, right? Because realistically, you're not trying to force people through your funnel in a week-long sales cycle all the time. Sometimes your sales cycle for a particular prospect could be 2, 3 months, right? Obviously, ideally, as somebody enters your ecosystem, you want them to be a buyer as quick as possible, but to maximize on the actual amount of people that you could be closing, this is how I would approach it, right? So right here, this is the typical funnel, right? Now, up here it says blind traffic, and realistically, this is just like a mass market ad, right? You're testing ads, you're trying to tweak the copy and make sure that it hits the right people. And there's a lot of, it's a very wide net, right? Very wide net made for a specific kind of fish. And whenever you do this, you're going to catch a lot of fish, right? You made a big net for a big fish, and then you catch a lot of them, right? And then the way that it goes from there is you've ran, 2, 3K in ad spend a day, and you have all of this traffic, you have all of these eyeballs. And what needs to happen, realistically, what actually happens in the middle of your funnel after you've collected 1,000 opt-ins or whatever a day is your sales team has to be the filter for those people, right? Now, I'm not saying that this is completely wrong because at scale, this works, right? But whenever I say at scale, I'm saying when you have like 2, 3 setters and they're good at what they do and they're all ramped and they're in motion and they're aware of, you know, I need to build pipeline. I need to follow up with these people that don't suck at their jobs, right? You need good setters for this to work. And then you need good closers, right? Because up here, you're getting a lot of traffic, you're getting a lot of opt-ins, you're getting a lot of people that want the free resource, they want the free thing, they want what you're selling based on the fact that your ad copy says click this link and I'll show you how to make 50 grand next month, right? That's the ad copy that got them. You're going to get everybody like that. Everybody wants to make 50 grand in a month except the people that are making 100 grand in a month, right? So from here, you create this huge pool of people that needs to be filtered by your sales team, right? In the moment, this doesn't sound that bad. In the moment, this is exactly what a lot of businesses do. And a lot of big businesses do this, but all those big businesses have budgets that are built with sales rep churn in mind, right? They build their sales teams and their sales processes knowing that, the average lifespan of a setter on our team is going to be 3 to 6 months. Right. Now they don't know why that it's 3 to 6 months. They just think that, oh man, every setter, they're stupid kids and they don't want to work hard and blah 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 blah. That's what they think. But in reality, the way that it actually works is they don't enjoy it. Right. It's not fun. It's not what they signed up for when they decide to get into sales. They didn't want to be the person who has to push people away. And then the people that are, better fits, they don't want to be sitting there trying to hook them in and pull them in to the deeper part of the funnel, right? And that's ultimately what you force them to do by running super wide basic ads, right? Realistically, really just running ads, period. Like a cold pay traffic funnel works like this. This is just it, right? And then at the bottom of it, your closers are fighting the close deals. You need to hire dog closers. You need dudes that have been in the space for a long time. They've been in sales for a long time. They've been in these high pressure sales environments before. And it costs money to find those people, right? Those are not easy sales reps to find. And it costs business owners an exponential amount to continuously make sure that they're getting new closers and retaining new closers and retaining good closers, right? Because a good closer is going to make more money on an offer that isn't structured like this. So you need to figure out a way to incentivize them with either a higher commission percentage, a base pay, whatever, so that they don't just leave and go to a better offer, right? And then out here, whenever I drew this like a couple weeks ago. This is all just like stuff that falls out of the funnel, right? It's green's the color of money. You got a bunch of stuff that fell out of your funnel on both sides of it because of the tightness of it, right? And realistically, I could make this like, it's not going to let me do it. I was going to make the triangle smaller. But what happens when you add trust, right? You get a big, wide open funnel, right? Now, the reason why you want your funnel to be set up this way, at least in my opinion, is the simplicity of it, right? You need one good style of ad, right? This says one good ad. You need one good style of ad, right? On any platform, literally, right? But your conversion metric shouldn't be that you should book a call immediately. It's that you should enter my ecosystem, right? So the next step of the funnel is them living in your ecosystem and naturally becoming enticed by what you're doing, and then eventually booking a call and closing, right? I've seen people run businesses like this without closers. I've seen people run businesses like this without setters, right? Now, obviously, with no sales team, you're not going to make as much money, but I've seen people, solopreneurs, make 60, 70K a month doing this, right? If I'm not mistaken, there's a guy, Jeremy DG, on Instagram. I'm pretty sure this was how his shit was set up for a while. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering correctly, he made like 60, 70 grand a month. And I don't recall him having a huge sales team, right? People like that run businesses like this because they're lean, they're simple, and ultimately they're high margin and they're easy, right? They're easy to do, and you're not losing anything on both sides of the funnel, right? On both sides of the funnel, you're not running into this like loss of leads because you capture the same, audience of people at the top, right? And maybe let's say we're a little bit more targeted in our ad or whatever, and we filter people out through our language. You still have a higher chance of converting the mass amount by going this way because once they've gone and they say, okay, he has an idea, what's next? You see the idea working. You see the idea in action. Every single day, you're nurtured with the fact that the idea is real and it makes sense and it's possible, right? That's what you want as your funnel, right? That's what you want the setup to be. And ultimately, a lot of businesses aren't structured this way, so they lose people, right? And this part is super wide. There's a reason why this is set up like this. Like, I didn't want it to be a triangle because at the bottom, what ends up happening, and maybe I should say sales team, what ends up happening is people fall through this at different speeds, right? People fall through this quickly, some people fall through this slowly, but at the bottom, they all percolate and they sit down there at the bottom of the funnel and they buy, right? Eventually they buy. On one of the teams that I work with, we have this saying, they always come back. That's what we say, right? And that's not an uncommon thing to hear. People say that all the time. But with this style of funnel, they do always come back, right? So ultimately, you're going to convert better because people are in your ecosystem and they're more comfortable in your ecosystem. They're not being squeezed into your funnel, right? Then from there, I forgot that I made this, but I saw it a second ago. How do we accomplish this? You have to rewrite your ads, right, to target insecurity and not opportunity, for one, right? So this is the natural filter that you need to have. And an example of this, if we were just because like the sales background, if I were writing a sales ad to get somebody to leave car sales and move into high ticket sales, right, or like the online sales space, my ad copy would be, are you working 60, 70 hours a week at a car dealership or outside knocking doors in the hot sun, being overlooked for promotions and waiting on slow commission cycles? And you want to do something better with your life. You feel like you're called to more XYZ. John Mao has an ad running like this right now, and it's super good. He has a very good ad running like this right now. So having something like that be your actual like ad copy, banger. And then you want to monitor the micro, right? You want to monitor the small tweaks that are made in your language, in different like sentence structures and things like that. As you change those, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to it because the micro things that you change are going to affect the macro way more than you would expect, right? If you slow down the pacing of your ad and let people really gather what you're saying and build that own story in their mind, that may work better than you just rambling at the screen super duper fast, right? Whatever it may be, those micro details make a huge difference in the end. And then don't let your audience live without you, right? You should be pulling these people into a cult following of yourself, right? So every single day, post something, right? Post a picture of yourself, do something, right? If it's YouTube, post shorts. If it's Twitter, tweet. If it's LinkedIn, post, right? Instagram, post, story post, whatever. Just make sure that you're always on these people's mind in some way. And it doesn't always have to be related to the business. It could just be you, right? Build a following, then make the method famous and preach the message. This is the thing that a lot of people do not do correctly is they make themselves the method, right? They make the business owner, whatever, they make themselves the method. And instead, what they need to do is they need to make the method itself famous, and then you need to be the best at preaching it, right? Because ultimately, with religion, we'll say that, right? Like, you can't make yourself the religion because nobody's going to follow you. But if you preach the religion better than anybody else, people are going to follow you because they're receiving what they feel they need through you as the vessel, right? So if somebody feels like they need money, you need to talk about money. You need to talk about how to make money easier. You need to do things like that. And then you just need to be the vessel for it. So you need to give good, educational, engaging content to people, as opposed to being like, hey, my name's Noah Burton and I made, 15 grand last month selling this shit, right? Because they're going to be like, oh, well, he's really trying to draw attention to himself and make this about him. So I buy something from him, right? Subconsciously, that's what's going on in their mind. And then hire sales reps and create a cult within the sales team. This is something that I've always been good at with teams that I manage, teams I've been a part of. Be engaging, have fun, talk about shit that isn't related to sales. Like, be normal, be cool, right? Maybe don't build like a cult, but like, believe so much in your offer that it connects you guys just off that. And then from there, build a connection with each other, have events, get on Zoom calls every now and then, like, be generous with each other's time and stuff like that. And ultimately, that's going to create more sales rep buy-in, which is really conviction. And the more sales rep conviction you have, the easier the sale is going to be. And then don't forget, at the end of all of this, they always come back, right? They always come back. If you have a good, spacing in your re-engagement, if you're re-engaging and you have a good spacing in your follow-ups, they're always going to come back, right? If you build this ecosystem, just don't kick them out of the ecosystem, and I'm sure that they'll try to live there forever. But in the end, this is how you make more money, right? This, you can make money, but you're forcing it. Right here, this is how you make money come to you. And these are all the other Miro boards that I've made so far. But like always, my name is Noah Burton. If you want somebody to implement this in your sales team, if you need a consultant on how to set this up, or you just want somebody to build this with you and manage it, hit me up. Go to my Instagram, NOAHHBURTON. I don't think YouTube lets me link it yet because I haven't posted enough videos, but soon enough, you'll just be able to go hit the link in the description and send me a message. But until that day, thank you for watching. God bless you. Go get some money.